There are many names for these little icons that appear on our screens whenever we play games. Trophies, achievements, awards, stamps, medals, or badges. Question is, what do these mean to you? Why is it we care or don't care about these insignificant gamer scores and levels? Shouldn't the sole purpose of playing video games be to experience the game presented in front of you and not focus on the meaningless metagame that is trophy hunting? Well, yes and no. I, like countless others, get lost in the hobby of trophy hunting. Yes, I know I have hobbies on top of hobbies. It's quite grating, actually. But there's a specific tick that gives my brain a dose of dopamine whenever I hear this, or even this. Because my OCD brain loves trophies, and honestly, I wouldn't be playing video games the same without it. So how is it trophies came to be, and why are they still relevant today? Allow me to explain the joys of trophy hunting. As you know, high scores and points were all the rage in early gaming. Almost every game had the same purpose for the player to fulfill, that being get the highest number out of everyone in the arcade. However, when video games reached the household, developers seemed to be reluctant to expand beyond this point-based system, which is why games like Castlevania, Mega Man, and Ninja Gaiden have scores when in all honesty they don't need them. Soon after, in the year 1982, the company Activision had this cute little idea to send Boy Scout-like patches to players who received a particular high score in one of their games. The short of it is obtaining a score, taking a shitty photo on your shitty TV, score on screen, and then sending it to the company. This was a really cool thing for the company to do, as not only did they send patches, they also paired them with accommodating letters as if the characters from the game had written them themselves. By the end of the year though, Activision decided that they were too cool to do that for their newer games, so they eventually stopped, but they still honored the players that achieved these scores years later. Then, in 1990, the game eMotion introduced the idea of having secret bonuses, a concept similar to achievements where if a player did a certain challenge, they would be rewarded in-game. 5 secret bonuses were given to a player if they were up for the challenge. This is largely the first example of a digital trophy list seen within game, something that is still prevalent in games today, largely on the Switch because Nintendo don't believe in trophies still. Many other games would add their own reward system, often varying in many different ways, but it wasn't until 15 years later when Microsoft introduced the Gamerscore system at E3 2005. And if for some chance you don't know what Gamerscore is, allow me to explain. Gamerscore is a point-based system that reflects the number of achievements accumulated by a user on Xbox Live. These achievement points are awarded for the completion of game-specific challenges such as beating a level or amassing a specific number of wins against other players in online matches and other various gaming challenges. The Xbox 360 launch lineup were the first games to ever be a part of an achievement system. It is interesting looking at these achievements for these games with a modern lens because the achievements in question are still very similar to the ones we see today. Beat the game. Beat the game on hard difficulty. Beat the game on extra crazy hard difficulty. Kill people in multiplayer. Do this, do that. Bam, you've amassed 1000 Gamerscore for completing the game. Congratulations, here's a fucking pizza. The Gamerscore system was a novel concept that really got players engaged. Before Gamerscore, telling people that you had 100% completed game was a lot more difficult to prove. You either had to take a picture of it or show them yourself. Even then, if the cartridge or memory card were lost, all that you would have is the memory of completion. What Gamerscore did was permanently mark the game as complete on your Xbox account, never losing the satisfaction or credibility your blood, sweat, and tears went into. Valve in 2007 would be next to follow in the footsteps of Microsoft by including their own achievement system on Steam. They titled these rewards Achievements. Really thought hard about that one, didn't you, Gabe? No, in all seriousness though, this cornered the two remaining players in the console market, as both Sony and Nintendo were achievementless, and the achievement craze was increasing by the day. Because of this, Sony implemented their trophy system on the PS3 in 2008, adding their own unique and superior version of the achievement formula, at least in my opinion. What separated the trophy system from both achievement systems is the diversity of trophy you could get, that being bronze, silver, gold, and the infamous platinum. This allowed the developers to classify how hard or important some trophies may be in comparison to others. And the platinum trophy was brilliant, offering a final reward bestowed to you for completing the game to the fullest. Following the success Sony, Valve, and Microsoft had seen with achievements, companies that were getting into gaming would soon follow suit. Apple and Amazon would include achievements for mobile gaming, and even emulation software like RetroArch would add trophy support to thousands of games that didn't get the chance to be on a trophy list. But you might have noticed that one major player still doesn't have trophy or achievement support on their consoles despite how perfect their games are for it. But I'll get into this in a second. Now that we know the history, what is the psychology behind trophy hunting? Why is it people are addicted to the phenomenon and what purpose does it serve? Well, there are many different answers to this question, so let me break it down. Some people trophy hunt because they are born completionists. Ever since their introduction to gaming, the idea of completing a game to a T and unlocking everything wasn't in question. So trophies and achievements help organize the requirements games ask of you while also organizing the amount of games you have played on your respective console. Other people do it because of money issues, and personally I have experience with this. While growing up broke with 3 brothers, usually we'd have a select number of games to choose from, so we would always pick the big RPG that we could spend the most time in. Because of this, both my older brother and I have the platinums in Fallout New Vegas, and he even has the platinum in Fallout 3. I, among many others, feel obligated to 100% complete a game that I pay for, so I know I get my money's worth. Another example for the justification of trophy hunting is to show to developers as well as yourself how much a game actually means to you and gaining all the achievements out of pure admiration for the game. I had to play Shadow of the Colossus 6 to 7 times in a row to get the platinum for the game. Was it annoying? Yes, actually. But you know what game is special if you still get the urge to play it after countless playthroughs. I'm still in awe of the Forbidden Land's desolate landscape, and the boss rush structure never lost its charm for me. Of course, this could be different for everybody, but everyone has that game that they would do almost anything for. The last example I can give is that trophies intimidate a certain OCD trigger that lies within people's heads, mine included. When I scroll through my trophy list on my PS5, I am irked by the percentages either not being at 0 or 100%. If I score a single trophy in a game I don't care about or can't complete to the fullest, a part of me is crestfallen. It's either I want the game complete or not. There's little to no room for in between. Lastly, an argument for the justification of trophy hunting is to make sure the system stays intact. Trophies are more than just challenges to overcome, they're also proof that an individual has played a game. We all know these shady gaming journalism companies. Now, just how many of their reviewers have actually played the games they've reviewed? If a quote-unquote journalist is reviewing a game and their opinion isn't all that sound, all we have to do is look at the receipts and check to see if they had actually played the game on Xbox, Steam, or PlayStation. Trophies don't lie, plain and simple. It is up to us as the consumer to uphold these people by checking to see if they're phony or not. And if their trophy lists are private, well, that's a pretty big red flag. As I mentioned previously, the achievement list has hardly changed since its inception 17 years ago. However, I would like to shed some light on some games that break the mold of the metagame, games where the developers thought outside of the box with their lists. Recently, the Stanley Parable have re-released for the first time on console. Here are some of my favorite trophies listed. Get your first trophy. Awarded for getting any of the other trophies as your first. Welcome back. Quit the game and then start it again. You can't jump. No, seriously, we disabled it. Commitment. Play the Stanley Parable for the entire duration of a Tuesday. Settings World Champion. Set all setting sliders in the menu to all available numbers. Super Go Outside. Don't play the Stanley Parable for 10 years. I absolutely adore that the trophies listed that are in the same spirit as the tone of the game. The levels of creativity the game had already delivered were amplified with this trophy list, and I for one am glad the developers did something like this. Another example of the trophy list being used creatively can be seen with the indie company Lilymo Games. Lilymo creates 2D pixel art games in a variety of different genres. Because of this, these games aren't so demanding, meaning that the PS4 and PS5 versions are ostensibly the same. PS5 users should know that a game that is on both PS4 and PS5 will have 2 different trophy lists that are exactly the same. But what Lilymo did with the PS4 and PS5 versions of Super Perils of Baking and Hyproxia 2 was include 2 separate trophy lists. The PS4 trophy list being the original and the PS5 being a separate hardcore list. Once again, another fantastic way to break the mold of the achievement system. I can go on and on about the many trophies declined throughout these 17 years, but that would take ages, and I'm sure you guys get the point. Achievements are a remarkable invention that I for one am glad found its way into the gaming ecosystem, which makes it that much more frustrating when I play Nintendo games and there still isn't an achievement system put in place to this day. Now, love or hate Nintendo, almost all of us can agree that their games are nothing short of superb. Countless hours have been lost to me because of Zelda in particular, and it pains me to know that I have almost nothing to show for that. Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games of all time, but I absolutely refuse to solve all 120 shrines and find all 900 Korok seeds regardless of my love for the game. But you know what would make me reconsider that notion? I'm just gonna let you guess. Oh, so, what's that? You already have an answer? You guessed it, trophies. It is such a shame that Nintendo refuses to implement such a system, but I think I know why. We all know Nintendo is about the gimmick. Now I say gimmick lightly because their gimmicks are actually pretty revolutionary, and I totally respect it. Dual screens, motion controls, hybrid gaming, all things that are incredibly substantial despite the initial concept being pretty risky. I think Nintendo hasn't indulged into trophies or achievements because they want to put their own spin on it, but just can't. And maybe at this point it's too late. To conclude this video, I would like to just leave you on one note. I expect the majority of you to be avid trophy hunters, and I for one appreciate the fact that you have watched this video all the way through, but stick with me for a second, as I give those who have only dabbled in the hobby a bit of advice. Who knows, you might need it too. For one, know when to quit. Some games you love might be tarnished if you ever try and go for the platinum, so just know when to cut your losses and enjoy the game for what it is. Secondly, don't let games that don't have a trophy list or platinum attached ruin it for you. Does it suck that Resident Evil 4 doesn't have a platinum? Yes, but it's still a phenomenal game nonetheless, so please enjoy it while you can. Life is short, and so I leave you with my final bit of advice. Enjoy all of these experiences while you can, because once you platinum a game, there might be no going back for you, so take every game one step at a time. That's all I got for you guys today, so please, all of you, stay sexy, stay healthy, and you guys have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.